Blue Ridge Parkway is known as America's favorite drive. It is 469 miles long, and it connects Shenandoah National Park in Virginia to the North Carolina section of the Great Smoky Mountains. I have been to Blue Ridge Parkway 3 times, and I still have never done the whole thing. Here's what you need to know so that you don't make the same mistakes I have. Here is the National Park Service map, and this is what it looks like inside. That is Virginia side. Shenandoah, halfway through. This is the North Carolina side. From where you left off to the Great Smoky Mountains. You're going to need a few days to do this place right. The first time I ever went on the Blue Ridge Parkway was on May 2nd, 2012. I was alone. I had driven to North Carolina to do a tryout for the X Factor. And someone told me, oh, you have to go check out Blue Ridge Parkway. And I was like, I don't have any more time. And they were right. I did need to go check it out, even if it was just a sliver. I entered at Asheville, North Carolina, and I went to the Mount Mitchell to see the highest peak east of the Mississippi. And then I had no more time, but was really happy to have seen the highest peak east of the Mississippi. But I had to get back to work in Nashville, so I had a long drive ahead of me, so I went back home. The second time that I went to Blue Ridge Parkway was with Chris, and it was on April 3rd, 2021. We came in from the southern end, and we had actually the day before driven through Great Smoky Mountains, and we were trying to do the connection of Smoky Mountains to the southern part. So we were able to go as far as the Craggy Gardens that time because of snow. Mount Mitchell State Park and all the surroundings were closed due to weather. We didn't know. And when we got to the visitor center, we found out. And they had all these routes for us to go around, but we didn't feel like we had time. Our goal was to at least get to Blowing Rock, because I've heard and seen cool pictures of Blowing Rock, but alas, we did not have time to go out on the highways and do all the around to get to Blowing Rock. So again, failure, because we did not know about the weather. On that particular time, there was a mama bear with a baby bear that crossed the road in front of cars, and I thought I saw their little noses and heads shape as they crawled up the embankment. So just know there are bears about in there. And the other cool thing about seeing it at that time was a lot of the waterfalls and the water that falls over the rocks on the drive were frozen over like icicles. So I hadn't seen that before on the Blue Ridge Parkway. So that was a unique experience. The third time that I went to Blue Ridge Parkway, I actually came in from the Shenandoah side at Shenandoah National Park, and I was able to go down all the way to Roanoke. So I actually covered quite a bit of ground, and I wanted to do more, but I also had something in South Carolina that I wanted to do. I stopped in at the Humpback Rocks Visitor Center, and they're the ones that, helped me get all these little details so that I knew cool things that I could go see. One of those places was the Crabtree Falls in the George Washington National Forest. This is Crabtree Falls. You can keep going up to more overlooks. And This is in the National Forest just off of the Blue Ridge Parkway. And I pushed it pretty far as I could go that day, and I didn't do a whole lot off of the road because I wanted to be able to do the drive. And I will tell you, that year, this section, May 4th, was absolutely beautiful. This was my favorite time scenic-wise that I had been because everything was covered in green. In March, when Chris and I went, it was like sticks everywhere. You were just overlooking a bunch of sticks. So it wasn't super pretty. So this was really, really nice. So I've made it this far, and from here to about here. So I still have half of this page and half of this page. You definitely need 3 to 5 days to be able to do the Blue Ridge Parkway. I loved having time to check out the overlooks. So much beautiful water running in creeks or waterfalls. The beautiful blooms of flowers and trees. I loved watching the sunset and mist come up over the mountains. Also seeing wildlife like deer. And I also loved seeing the moon as it peeked out. So I'm at the Blue Ridge Parkway, about 20 miles from Roanoke, and I have the moon on my left and the sunset on my right. So in 23, I pushed it as far as I could go, and I lost daylight somewhere around here, about 20 miles north of Roanoke. And then I popped out at Roanoke and drove on the freeway to Hillsville, Virginia, and got a Motel 6 for $74. As I made this video, I actually had a realization that I maybe have been to the Blue Ridge Parkway 4 times. The very first time being when I went to the Star in Roanoke in February of 2012. The best time to visit Blue Ridge Parkway is in the spring when the blooms are going on, as long as the road is open, and after the greenery has filled the area. Summer, because it will be filled in with green. And then iconically, Blue Ridge Parkway is very much known for its fall colors. What surprised me the most on my visits? Surprise, I had actually already gone to a portion of it and didn't even know. Being right at the top of the mountains and overlooking them, Mount Mitchell, and to get to see the highest peak east of the Mississippi was very cool. In March, the thing that surprised me, having lived in both the desert areas of the West and lived in the South, I just have this perception that the South is always green, 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 green. So all the dead sticks in winter of all the dead trees, that threw me for a loop because I'm like, oh yeah, leaves do fall, even here. Also, how long it is and how long it takes, because the highest mile per hour I think is 45 miles per hour. Then there are just so many stops and towns and hikes and things that you could do. You could spend so much time there getting to know the Blue Ridge Parkway. One day, I hope to go and spend a lot of time and really immerse myself in there, but I guess 3 to 4 times still isn't enough. But bottom line, if you're like me and you can do a tiny section even, go do it because it is worth it and it is beautiful and very calming and amazing, even just the most simple overlooks. As always, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, share, comment, and like my videos, and I will keep bringing you really cool places in the United States. Safe travels, everyone!